So for the past 5 or 6 months, I've been using a distribution of EMACS called Doom EMACS. And that got me thinking. I've never even tried out regular EMACS. In fact, I think I've only ran regular EMACS maybe one time, and that was just to make sure that it was installed correctly. But the more I think about it, the more I started to realize that there is other distributions of EMACS out there. And one of those distributions is called Spacemacs. Now, that's what we're going to do in today's video. We're going to test out Spacemacs. I'm going to give you guys my first impressions. And I just want to say that I don't know exactly what's wrong with this distribution of EMACS. I don't know if it's because Doom EMACS is just so good, or if people really haven't tested out this distribution, because a lot of the mainstream YouTubers that I personally watch, I don't think any of them have ever covered Spacemacs. So today I'm going to break that trend, and yeah, we're going to hop in a VM. The reason we're going to do this in a VM is quite simply, I do not want to break my Doom EMACS config. And anytime you ever install one of these distributions of EMACS, typically it likes to overwrite all your configuration stuff. So for that reason, we're going to be doing this in a VM. And yeah, let's get started on my first impressions of Spacemacs. All right, so here we are. We're in Red Core Linux. I am going to be running this in DWM today, just simply because I'm running Qtile on my main production machine, and I wanted something a little bit different on a virtual machine. But this is Red Core. You can kind of see the red arrow. And yeah, let me make sure that I have EMACS installed. I'm pretty sure I got everything kind of set up. And then we'll head over to the Spacemacs website, and we'll read some documentation and get it actually working. Okay, so EMACS is installed. And I do not know. Well, we can close this the old-fashioned way, can't we? I do not know the regular EMACS keybinds, as you can see. All right, now that we've seen that EMACS is installed, let's head on over to the Spacemacs website here. And we'll run through the install, and we'll also run through some of the stuff on the main page here, and I think it's pretty cool. So it follows the mnemonic kind of keybinds. Mnemonic just means that, like, it does prefixes like B is going to be for buffer, E is going to be for project, S is going to be for search, H is going to be for help. And a lot of times in a lot of your configurations, you typically do this anyway, just so you can build some muscle memory. It also, it's made for it. Right here it says the best editor is neither EMACS nor Vim. It's EMACS and Vim. So this thing has a lot of, it does use evil mode, and it does have a lot of Vim type stuff in it. But yeah, and it's crowd configured, so it's a community driven configuration. So I think this has a lot more packages than Doom EMACS. I'm not 100% sure, but let's go ahead and get the install stuff going. So it looks like I just need to clone. I need to clone this. And go ahead and paste that there. So we're going to clone it. And that looks like it's done. And now go ahead and run EMACS. Okay. So this is Spacemacs. So what is your preferred? So this is going to be like the initial configuration right here. What is your preferred editing style? So you can either choose Vim or you can choose EMACS. Now I personally like using the Vim keybinds just because it doesn't hurt your hands, and I know them. You know, I don't know anything about the regular EMACS keybinds. So we're going to select the Vim keybinds here. And then what distribution of Spacemacs would you like to start with? We're going to go to the standard distribution. It's recommended, and I want to know what this thing comes with out of the box. So we're going to do that. And it looks like it's connecting to Melpa. Melpa is a package manager here for EMACS. I think it's more of the community package manager. I think there's two. I think there's one called Elpa, and then there's one called Melpa. So it looks like it runs through like some kind of install script here, but it's going relatively fast. Which is a good thing because it looks like it's 132 packages. Now, if you guys ever install Doom EMACS, you know that you would run the Doom sync script, and it would pretty much do the same thing. I guess they don't do this on Spacemacs. They just do it on the initial startup here. So I'm going to pause the video. This might take quite a while, and then I'll bring you guys back as soon as this gets done compiling and finish like installing and everything. All right, the install seems to be done. It didn't take that long. There was quite a few warnings though when installing some of the packages. I don't know if that's a normal type of thing, but yeah, just kind of odd. I mean, there was a lot of warnings. So I'm sure that has something to do with the configurations. But let's go ahead and first off, I want to fix this font a little bit. So let's try and fix the font. And let's try and open up the actual configuration file because I don't know what configuration file it uses. I do know on the website prior to making this video, I did a little research and it does something kind of weird. It has a layering system. So, you know how Doom EMACS has like 3 separate files and you have one main configuration file and then you have 2 of them for packages. And this, it looks like you have different layers, and then you can make a private layer for different configs. I don't know, but we'll check it out. So if I do, now I do know that the spacebar is the leader key. They did change that. So if we do space period, that should open up DRED, and then we can figure out where this configuration file is. So if I do space period is undefined. Okay. I do know it has which key installed. So that's which key right there at the very bottom there. Is it maybe files? All right, let's hit F for files. I just want to find file. Him find files. Okay. So it's going to be space FF. And then if we go to EMACS, okay, so it looks like we have a space EMACS file right there. So let's go down. And that's another weird thing too, is that I don't know if this is a normal thing, but It's not using the Vim keys to switch files right there. But we can just do Spacemacs, open it up. Okay. Okay, now the Vim keys do work. So, like I said, it's a little different. One thing I am noticing right now too is, let me go ahead and so I want to increase the font size. Okay, that works. That works. Okay, I had to use the mouse with the control. And I'm also noticing too, like we have this scroll bar on the left hand side there. That to me is a little dumb, but we'll go through this thing. Okay, so first thing is I'll say is you see these dot Spacemacs enabled blah blah blah. That looks like how they use their variables. And that's totally different from the way that regular EMACS uses it and from the way that Doom EMACS. So this has, most of the time you use the set Q to set a variable. And it looks like they have their own way of setting different variables. Now, one thing I'll say at the very bottom there, you can see when you hover over the variable, it actually tells you what it does. I do like that feature. That's pretty cool. And then, like I said, Spacemacs does this layering kind of config, which is kind of weird. Space FER or to install them. So we can have better defaults. We can have auto completion. Okay, so it doesn't have org mode installed by default. It uses something called Helm. I don't know what Helm is. I'll tell you what, though. We're going to come back to this. I want to fix the fonts super fast, and then we'll probably come back to this. And then right here, this is, I'm guessing this is like the user configurations. And you can see right here, it's making a function call, the init. And then it's using some set Q stuff right here. But it's using that dot Spacemacs enabled whatever again. Which is just, it's just kind of weird to me. So I don't know what all that is about. Like I said, this is the first time checking it out. So so we can have an official banner. I do like how it has a lot of comments though. So you can go through this configuration file and you can kind of spice it up a little bit. And that's probably what we'll end up doing a little bit. So, okay, so here we go. We have some themes. So I guess it uses the Spacemacs dark theme by default here. And it's got the load line theme, which is the Spacemacs theme there at the bottom. Okay, so here's some default font stuff. Let's change a couple of this stuff right here because I don't. First off, font size 10. That's a little too small for my eyes. We'll do 16 here on camera. I'll probably change it to 14, but I think 16 would be pretty good. And then we're gonna change weight. We're also gonna change the weight here to I like semi-bold. Okay, so I wrote it. space FER. Maybe if we can just do find file again and load the load that file again. Maybe we don't have to restart EMACS here. No, we might have to actually restart EMACS. That's okay. Okay, cool. So it looks like it actually used my new font, which is that's a good thing. So you can see it. To me, it looks a little bit better. See what else we can actually do here. Set the theme for the space line. Supported themes are Spacemacs, all of the icons, custom, Doom, Vim Powerline, and Vanilla. The first three are Spaceline themes. Doom is the Doom EMACS power. Okay. Let's change this to Doom. See if we can get this thing looking like Doom a little bit. So I guess we just change this variable. We can write it. We'll quit it. EMACS. Okay, it's going to contact Melpa. And did I not? Buffer. Maybe? No. Space buffer. B for list buffers. We got the scratch buffer. We'll do recent right here. Okay. So yeah, so you can see at the very bottom right here, if I use my mouse, you can see that it did change it to the Doom style at the bottom there. So I forgot the name of that thing. The space line, that's what they're calling it. So space line, power line, it's kind of all the same thing, right? But I do want to. There's some other stuff I want to fix. I want to fix on this thing because there's some things bugging me already, and one of those things is having the scroll bar. I don't like having scroll bars on my text editors anymore because there's just no real use for it. And then we'll enable Git and then a couple of other things. And then we'll check out the layering system and everything like that. So I guess we just need to kind of go through here and we need to look up just some of the things that new empty buffer, major mode, text mode. Okay. Major mode leader key and a shortcut key, which is the equivalent of pressing leader. I don't know what some of this stuff does. But it's alright. There should be something that says to turn off the scroll bar here. So it's got transparency. That's kind of cool. Smooth scrolling. Oh, here we go. Scroll bar while scrolling. It's set to T. If it's set to T, that means it's going to be true. We need to set this to nil if we want to turn it off here. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to erase that. I think it's just NIL for nil. We do want, if non-nil smooth scrolling, smooth scrolling overrides the default behavior. Okay. So we can write that. We do want line numbers, right? We want line numbers. So we don't want nil. Can we set to, if set to T, which is true, relative or visual, then line numbers enabled in all prog mode and text mode. If set to relative, line numbers are relative. If set to visual, line numbers are also relative, but only visual lines are counted. Well, let's just set it to relative, because we like relative. And if you don't know what relative line numbers are, that is when, like, if you're on line 5, then it'll say line 1, but technically it's line 5. It just means where the cursor it actually is. It helps when you're trying to jump through the document. So if you see that you need to go to line 10, but you're on line 5, well, you know that you need to go 5 more steps down to kind of jump there. So that's what relative line numbers are. So I think I got some of the things kind of going that I wanted to. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what half of this stuff is, but here we go. Here's some of the other stuff, that the layering system I was talking about here. So it uses like a bunch of different configurations depending on what you actually want to install. And I'll show you I think it installed a bunch of stuff, because earlier when I was reading the documentation before I made this video, it was just talking about the layering system. I'll show you the documentation super fast so you guys can kind of get an idea of exactly what I'm talking about here. So if we do a quick start guide, it has some of this stuff, okay, like some keybind stuff and what the leader key is. But if we go back, you can see we have a layers tutorial. And this is what I was talking about. Like, it uses, I don't know what half of these layers are. I don't even know how to make a custom layer, actually. But yeah, it has the anatomy of a layer, like how to use it, the loading process. Documentation is actually pretty good on this. I will say, it's just weird. It feels weird. It's not bad. It's just weird, right? It's not Doom. It is not Doom. I'm so used to Doom EMACS. But if we go to the top of the document here, let's go ahead and enable a couple of those things I did want to enable before. So we're going to enable Git, most definitely, and we want org mode. We can write it. We wrote it. We're going to quit. Jump back in. So it's going to install some things here. It's going to install org mode and maggot for Git and everything. So these are packages that I would install anyway, because org mode and maggot is two of the best things about EMACS, in my opinion. So I would 100% have these installed regardless if I was making this video or not. Now it looks like it is taking a little longer to get all of the org stuff installed here. But org is such a big and complicated thing that I do imagine that it's quite large. But one thing I do like about this so far is that, you know, it don't have everything enabled by default. And I personally like that. Okay, so it looks like we just got some. This is what I'm talking about earlier when we had a lot of these warnings. They're just buffer kill. Buffer. Okay. No, space BD. How do we get rid of this? Window close. How do we close a window? Delete a window. Delete. No? Window. How do we close a window? You know what? Let's do meta X. Evil window close. Okay. Postpone. How about window? Fit window. All right. I guess that's how you close a window. It's quit window. Space FF. We'll do. We'll do. Tell you what. Let's just open up. Can we open up a? Can we just open up Dired? I want to get rid of this. I'll just drag that for right now because I don't know how to close it. But so we have. These are everything that. These are all the stuff that installs by default. So we have some documentation. We have some init files. It looks like we have a couple of EMACS stuff in here, like the init EL and stuff. We also have the Spacemacs stuff, and then we have this thing called layers. So let's check out layers. So we have all of this stuff. We got the chat layer. We got checkers, completions, distributions. We have EMACS, fonts, frameworks, fun, languages. Pretty much, I guess anything that you really need. But let's check out this .org document here. So this is a layered list. This is the list of all the layers installed. And it kind of tells you what you could install here. So a nice thing, a really nice thing actually, is if you're a Python developer and you mess with the Django framework, you can actually put the Django framework inside of EMACS. And I thought that was really cool. I was checking out this last night, and yeah, it sounds pretty neat. Now I'm not a Python developer or anything like that, but I have messed around with the Django before, and I personally thought that was really cool. Now we do have some, we got some C and C++ type of stuff. That's more of my background. Again, not a developer, but I've messed around with it. And then we got Rust. So that's pretty neat. And then we got source control. And then you know, we got themes. So there's a theme mega pack. Let's check out some themes. So I'm going to click on the theme mega pack here. So if we do space TS, we might be able to change the theme here. Space TS. Space capital T and then S. There we go. Let's pull this up a little bit. All right, cool. There is a lot of themes here. Wow. Ooh. We don't like that. We don't like that one. So what is it? It's space capital T capital S. Yeah, we don't no. T. That one is super ugly. Alright, that one's not too bad. That one's not too bad. Wish I can get rid of these warning signs here. So space, capital T, capital S. Let's yeah, this is okay. This is alright. Okay. So that's some of the theming stuff. I don't like really wish I could get rid of this. Like buffer kill. No. Buffer delete. There we go. Got rid of it. So I had to delete the buffer there. Yeah. Let's see. Tweak face attribution under okay, includes 3 additional layer variables for tweaking headlines. So it says this layer installs around 100 themes. So if we click on it, you will need to add themes megapack to the existing .spacemacs configuration layers list in this file. To use this configuration layer, add it to your Spacemacs. Add it to your Spacemacs. You will need to add themes hyphen megapack to the existing .spacemacs configuration layers list in this file. That don't make that don't make a lot of sense to me. But let's move on. I'll tell you what. Let's see if we can get this installed. So let's do buffer. No, space FF. And then let's do I just want Spacemacs. That's yeah. So if we can do, let's search for configuration layers. All right, right here. So right here is the configuration layers. So we need themes mega pack. So I'm guessing it's gonna be like right here. So we'll do themes mega pack right here. We'll go ahead and write that. We'll go ahead and quit. We'll quit. Open up EMACS again, and hopefully it does contact Melpa. It's cloning. Yeah, and it's installing the themes. That's pretty cool. And you know, I mean, that was relatively easy to do. Now, this is just a theme. I don't know how to make any custom functions or anything like that, or install custom plugins, but that was pretty good documentation. It told you exactly what to do, and I mean, I had to use my brain a little bit to figure out exactly where to put it, but yeah, not too bad. And so now it installed the theme. So space, what was that? Capital T, lowercase s. Oh, and now we have a lot of different themes. Do we have my theme though? We have Dracula. That's sweet. That's real nice right there. That's what I'm talking about. And that to me is that looks a whole heck of a lot better. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. There was 2 Draculas though. I do want to see what the other one was. So that was Doom Dracula, and then we have regular Dracula. What's regular Dracula? I didn't really see a difference. Space TS Drac. Yeah, I didn't see a huge difference there between Dracula and Doom Dracula. But I will say that the aesthetics looks a hell of a lot better in my personal opinion. Let's go ahead and one more thing. I want to check out what these layers are in terms of like what's actually in the configuration file, because that's something we haven't checked out here. So I don't know exactly how to open up Dear Ed. Maybe if I can do meta X, I'll do meta X, and then we'll type in Dear Ed, and then find file. Yeah. Dear Ed, find file. No file on this line. Okay. I guess we can keep doing it like that, but it keeps opening up in my home directory, and I don't. Okay. So we'll do emacs.d. Go ahead and open up. Okay, here we go. Let's so this private directory, from what I can gather, this is where you can put I guess individual like configuration stuff in, or your custom layers. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Don't hold me to it, but there was something in the documentation that talked about that. And then we'll go to layers again. We already looked at themes. I guess we can look at I don't know. What's window manager? Okay, we don't want window manager. Chat, that's all the chat clients it can have. We don't want all that. Completions, you got Ivy, Helm, we got iBuffer, better defaults. I don't know what DRED would be under, or what some of the keybinds. I don't know any of that stuff. There's fonts, frameworks. I'm trying to look and see if there's something kind of cool. But you can see this stuff goes in depth. I mean, we're at the language, and now we're at C and C++, and then there's a config EL, there's a readme.org, there's a Python script, there's a packages.el file. Yeah, this thing goes in crazy depth. So I guess this is talking about the LSP and stuff like that, and how to install this layer, as it's called. Okay, this is how you would install like an LSP server and stuff like that. You would just pretty much install. You would install this layer and then restart EMACS, and then let Melpa connect and set everything. It looks like it already pretty much sets all your variables and stuff. So that's pretty neat. That is pretty cool. All that being said, this is my first impressions of Spacemacs here. It's okay. It's a little hard to get used to coming from Doom EMACS. The way that Doom EMACS does its configuration files, it makes sense, right? There's 3 files. 3. That's it. And I kind of understand what they're getting here with the layering system. I do think that's kind of neat, but this thing is loaded with just how much crap it has. It seems like they have configuration files for other configuration files, which to me, again, doesn't make much sense. Now, as far as how well it seems to run, it runs pretty good. And this is a virtual machine, like I said, and it seemed to run pretty fast. Startup time is pretty fast, even though we didn't even have it in daemon mode. We were just running the actual EMACS program itself. So I imagine if we put this in a daemon, this thing would boot up extremely quick. I do plan on keeping this on Red Core. I'm going to play around with it some. We're going to mess with it. I may do some more videos on it. But my overall first impression is, if you've never messed with Doom EMACS, and if you've never messed with regular EMACS, this is a pretty good option. However, if you're going from Doom EMACS to this, you may be a little lost, or you at least will be scratching your head trying to figure out what's actually going on in the configuration file. So with all that being said, yeah, it's a neat little project, but I'll probably stick with Doom EMACS on my actual production machine. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button if you guys like the content, and always feel feel free to drop me a line. I do try and get back to each and every single one of you guys, and I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel. The channel has I'm getting a lot of subscribers now, and it's really cool to be able to interact with you guys and to, to hear your thoughts and everything. And feel free, if you want to see something different in the videos, or if you guys, or maybe the audio's too loud or too low or not enough bass, let me know in the comments, guys, and I'll fix whatever I need to fix in order to make the best content that I can possibly make for you guys. But until next time, I want you guys to take care, be safe, and peace. Bye.